Starting off my officially 10th but actually 13th episode, we have Downtown Neketsu Story, or River City Ransom here in the US, or Street Gangs over in PAL territories. This is a translated Japanese version included in the Double Dragon and Kunio-kun Retro Brawler bundle on Switch. I've played this before a bit years ago when I was 14, but my actual introduction to the series was a football game I don't remember the name of on one of those Game Boy 105 in 1 carts that just had 10 games repeated with different names on the menu. The story has main character Kunio's best friend Riki's girlfriend kidnapped by the rival Reiho High School and heading out to save her. That includes beating the hell out of delinquents from other schools on the way. You can punch and kick and can also pick up weapons like this bat. Knocking out punks has and drop money you can pick up. If an enemy is knocked to the ground but not defeated, you can pick them up and use them as a weapon or throw them. Also, friendly fire is on. I think you can turn it off and I just fucked up. From there I can move right to the next screen, Hanazono Town. Every enemy's school can be identified by the colour of their uniform, and each school student drops a specific amount of money. When you run out of health, you're not down until you actually get knocked down. You can take all the regular punches in the world. At the right edge of the screen we go up to Hanazono Mall. There are many shops, cafes and the like to buy things for increased stats, healing or new moves. I have a bit of everything, getting boosts to max stamina, defense, agility, resilience and energy, but I'll get into the stats more later. After checking out all the shops, it's right further into Hanazono Town. There's an exit in the middle of the screen going up, but instead I continue right where I get a chain thrown right into my face from off screen. The chain is probably the best weapon in the game with good range and damage. Due to construction, most of this screen is a death pit. Taking out every student has a boss appear by the exit. This is Sawaguchi. I could ignore him, but most of the bosses are required to enter Reiho High School. He's pretty easy and spamming the whip takes him out. Going up, next to where I fought him, takes me to Sakura Mall. Buy a couple books to feel a refreshing breeze from my body for more defense. Now it's money grinding time. I return to the previous screen and start beating up students for money. If both players die, they're sent back to the closest mall backwards from the screen they died on, which in this case is Hanazono Mall. If one player is defeated and the other makes it to the next screen, the dead player is restored to full health. Either way, the players that die lose a chunk of money. There is a way around this in 2-player though. I'm aiming for some books, but most of the money goes to minor stat increases. I get tired of getting killed a lot and move on right from Sakura Mall to Treasure River. Here I meet Hasebe, a Reiho student who says Riki's girlfriend was taken by the Dragon Brothers to the top floor of the school. She warns me that they're incredibly strong, so I should power up before fighting them. There's an exit upwards from the entrance leading to the riverbank where an optional boss, Kamijo and Yamamoto are waiting. It ends in defeat. This is hard mode. After grinding on Treasure River and the next screen, Midori Town, but still being unable to defeat Yama and Kami, we take the exit from Midori Town to the abandoned warehouse. Avoid the hole in the ground and actually enter the warehouse at the end. This introduces the one part of the game I don't like, platforming. To jump you have to press both the punch and kick buttons at the same time. It's awkward and I leave for now and get instantly laid out. Yama and Kami get taken out next time I try, though I accidentally take all the money. Back to the warehouse and climbing these boxes. Timing the jump is very tricky and you end up bouncing off the second trying to land on the first. It's best to just try landing on the top of the second box. Head over to the other side and get killed by tripping on dropped weapons. 10 minutes later and more money grinding and minor stat boosting because I hadn't figured out the best way to raise stats yet, I'm back in the warehouse. Taking out the 2 enemies in here has the next boss appear, Nishimura. He threatens to murderlize me and makes good on his threat. I pay him back next time and he says that Kinoshita is waiting for me in the park. The park is that middle exit on the screen after Hanazono Mall. Kinoshita is there holding a chain whip, claiming to be one of the Reiho 4. He gets stun locked for a while and I defeat him before he can score a single hit on me. He says I'll never be able to defeat Kobayashi. It's back to grinding money for stats. 6 minutes later I add the 3000 yen I need to go to the bookshop in Hanazono Mall to buy the book teaching Mach Punch. This replaces my regular punch with a faster, stronger triple punch. Thanks to it I'm taking out most enemies around here with one attack so Riki can have the yen they leave behind. Less than 20 minutes later Riki can afford Mach Punch. Back to grinding using the enemies in the park. 25 minutes later I build up another 3000 yen for the Mach Kick skill. It does 3 speedy strong kicks instead of just 1 now. 9 minutes later Riki gets Mach Kick. I continue for now, going through the exit of the warehouse Nishimura came through. There's one small exterior screen leading to the small abandoned building screen. Inside is a tunnel with a hidden door to the mystery shop underneath the 4th light from the left. It sells ludicrously expensive items that give major stat boosts. I'm not affording any of them anytime soon. So we leave the other side. Defeating all enemies on this screen reveals the next boss, Mochizuki. I get a few good punches and kicks in, but he chucks me to the ground and ends me. I get him next time though. I take the next exit back into Midori Town. Take out everyone on the screen and we already get another boss, Taira. He's defeated first time and tells me that Kobayashi is in the back room of the factory. Then move on to Midori Mall. I buy some raw tuna, which grabbing a hold of somehow makes my punch stat go up. Further into Midori Town and left again takes me to the abandoned factory entrance. From the entrance we drop down and take out all the other students dropping down. then take the door up to the high level, which leads to the door to the head of the Reiho 4, Kobayashi. He will not appear unless you've already defeated Nishimura, Kinoshita and Mochizuki. We get on both sides of him and start wailing on him. He takes quite a few hits but never gets a chance to even attempt a single attack. Before he blinks away, he warns me about Goda's headbutt. The exit leads to one more screen of Midori Town, and the next is Star Hill Mall. A couple new skills I can buy, but can't afford. Right outside the mall is Yumemi Town, where Kamijo and Yamamoto are always waiting for a rematch. They're still optional, and you can grind them for money if you're good enough. They are stronger than before though, but I manage them. The screen past them is deeper into Yumemi Town. After beating everyone up here, I go back a screen and try out the bathhouse. It's just minor healing. I then start overloading on food from Star Hill Mall's bakery. It's a lot of money, but it's just singular point stat boosts. After the last Yumemi Town screen is Reiho High, where I get taken out in seconds. Come back with full health and take them all out. This reveals the boss guarding the school gate, Goda, who I knew purely for being a spirit in Smash Ultimate before revisiting this game. He mangles us with his headbutt. Next time is the obvious solution. Get on either side of where he'll appear and start kicking the air in preparation. That works and he's down before pulling off a single attack. Now I can enter the school. The first screen is in the gym. Beat everyone up for another boss, Onizuka. He's furious that we're in here with shoes on. I don't know if he's a student, a teacher or the cleaner. He blocks nearly every attack for ages until he just decides to stop and let me beat his face in, saying that the Dragon Brothers are upstairs. This bit is a little odd. To get upstairs I have to jump on top of this basketball hoop, then up here which just looks like background scenery. Along that is the door. This leads into the hallways. There are 3 of them and I only really need to go up to the top, but I want to take out all bosses. This first floor just has enemies in a dead end. I go up the stairs to the second floor but get wiped out. Clearing out the second floor has the last optional boss, Godai, appear. His big thing is he starts with the bat. He can also use the bat to do a spinning jumping attack. I lose. So it's back to grinding money. I mainly buy turtle power from the Star Hill Mall pharmacy to get the 3-point increase in the power stat and 12 to max stamina. Max stamina being maximum health obviously, and power determining how much damage is caused when throwing an enemy or weapons. I mistakenly thought it meant general attack strength, which is why I'm focusing on that since I rarely throw weapons if I have them. During this grinding, Ricky is the first character to max out a stat, hitting the 127 stat cap for max stamina. Every other stat caps at 63. At this point I come across an amazing strategy to grind money. The issue was, eventually we would get killed and lose half of it. But it turns out that if one player is already waiting off screen in the loading zone for the next screen and the remaining player is killed, both players will then move on to the next screen and no one loses any money. Now, the other player must already have entered the loading zone for the next screen. If one dies first, then the other player moves on to the next screen, the one that died still loses money. With this genius strategy I grind out 8,000 yen and go to the bookshop in Star Hill Mall to buy the torpedo skill. The funny part is the AI getting confused and trying to beat me up in the loading zone. Or getting stuck on the scenery on their way to try and beat me up in the loading zone. But after nearly 25 minutes of more grinding, Ricky has Torpedo. Torpedo changes your throw so that now when you throw an enemy, they slide along the floor until they collide with the wall. 10 minutes later I have 6,000 yen to buy Max Slap from the other bookshop in Star Hill Mall. Another 10 minutes later and Ricky has Max Slap. Max Slap upgrades your regular attack when holding a weapon to a triple swing. Using it with a chain whip and a high enough weapon stat is devastating. Although at this point I'm taking out many enemies with just one attack. I next grind out 4,000 yen and go to the bookshop in Midori Mall to buy the stomping skill. 7 minutes later Ricky has the 4 grand for stomping. If you jump while standing over a downed enemy, you'll jump on them and finish them off. Here though I'm taking out enemies too quick to be able to use it. I next grind out 10 grand and go to the mystery shop to buy the Joy Medal. This gives an insane 30 punch and also gives me the last 3 max stamina points I needed to hit the cap. It also filled up my energy stat. Energy is a stat that allows you to survive normally fatal attacks. When you get knocked down with no health, if you have over 20 energy, you will trade those points to stay alive. Next I get another 10,000 yen to buy the Rain Wing from the same shop. This one gives me 30 defense, leaving me just 1 point from the 63 point cap. During all this, both characters maxed out power too from buying the glasses that shop sells. I then backtrack all the way back to Sakura Mall at the beginning after getting another 6 grand to buy the final skill, the Screw Attack. Metroid reference, doing a running jump will perform a somersault that causes damage on contact. And 10 minutes later Ricky has it, giving both characters all 6 special skills. Now just stats are left. 10,000 buys me the Excalibur from the mystery shop which adds 30 to my weapon stat. Ricky also gets comparable stats from the same shop, but grinding at least 10,000 yen out every time is too slow. There has to be something quicker. I move on to buying sardines from the Midori Mall fish shop for 500 yen each. They each give 1 punch and 4 agility. Agility determines both my running speed and jumping height. Buying them at this point is a pain because I only have 2 free slots in my inventory thanks to the skill books. I don't know if I could throw them away after reading them, but I didn't want to risk losing them, so I'm stuck buying 2, using them, and buying 2 again. This maxes out both characters' agility and Kunio's punch. My next target is 100 yen chocolate from the sweet shop. They give 1 kick point. This one is especially tedious since I'm entering and re-entering the shop for just 2 kick points each time. During the kick grind, Ricky maxes punch too. I take a break from kick and start buying mackerel from the fish shop instead. The fishy smell on your hands somehow gives 3 defense points. It doesn't take long for both to max out defense. The sweet shop also sells Ramune for 100 yen. This gives me 1 weapon point. I only need 6 to max out Kunio's weapon. Then it's back to grinding to buy chocolate for Kunio and Ricky's kick and more Ramune for Ricky's weapon. Using both stats at just 1 point at a time takes a further 45 minutes. Now everything but resilience is maxed out, barring my energy, but that's a consumable stat that never stays up so it doesn't count. So I still have more grinding. I haven't spoken much about my thoughts on the game yet. It's very cute and expressive. I love the faces everyone makes when they get hit. Also the fact that we're fighting through Japanese towns but our main character's hairstyles and the music gives a 50s greaser vibe that only makes it stand out more. Hard mode's a pain, but it still feels good when you hit people. For the last stat, I visit the toy shop in Midori Town and buy a 3000 yen teddy. Hugging it gives a massive 20 resilience. These must be shoddily made though, because after just 1 hug I need to buy another. Resilience is the stat that controls my ability to break an enemy's block. And just under 20 minutes later, both characters are fully leveled up. Now it's time to take on the school. I still get taken out by Godai though before Ricky defeats him. Next is the last floor of the school. With our high stats, the regular students are defeated in no time. But then the Double Dragon theme starts playing and the Dragon Brothers, Ryuichi and Ryuji, emerge. Their names meaning Dragon 1 and Dragon 2. This game was made by the developers of Double Dragon. They are the hardest boss in the game, having the highest stats and there being 2 of them. But here we get on either side of them and keep triple swinging bats at their heads until they pass out. They don't get to pull off a single hit either. We can now go up the stairs to meet the final boss and the kidnapper of Ricky's girlfriend, Yamada. He bigs himself up for about 2 seconds before the same strategy that fell the Dragon Brothers is applied to him. He also doesn't get to pull off a single attack. While blinking away, Yamada says he never wanted to lose to Kunio even back when they were friends, but Kunio is just way more hot-blooded than him. I get an achievement for the Brawler bundle, Evil's End, for beating the game on hard mode. Every game on the bundle has 3 achievements each. The ending is just text. All the other schools are freed from Reiho's control, but then we're told everyone forgot Yamada's name. Did I just murder a high school student? We then get the credits and Ricky's girlfriend is never mentioned. My 1-player run I actually did first. I was aiming for the other 2 achievements at once, beating the game on normal and beating it without any passwords or secret skills. Silly me misunderstood no skills as no stat boost at all, so it took me 3 hours until I realised about 2 hours in I could boost my stats. I was stuck on the Dragon Brothers for like an hour and a half. Even with 1 player and much lower stats, Yamada is still easy. I get the achievements Neketsu MVP for beating it on normal and Manly Play for beating it with no passwords or skills. The bundle also contains the American version, River City Ransom. Right away we can see that Kunio and Ricky, now named Alex and Ryan, are now wearing a shirt and jeans instead of a Japanese school uniform. Instead of rival schools, I'm fighting gangs like the Generic Dudes and the Frat Guys. Yen has been converted to dollars and every item, location and those stats have also been renamed. This made finding out the items I needed to buy a pain for the Japanese version, since that translated version is very recent and all facts I could find were based on this version. There's new achievements too. First one I get is dominate the menu for eating every food at the sushi bar. One achievement just wouldn't activate for me. This was Market Controller for buying all items from the mystery shop without resetting or using passwords. I bought everything a few times over but the achievement wouldn't activate. Good thing I'm not counting this version towards completing the game. Although I was hoping to slowly work on this bundle throughout this show and get every achievement. The last achievement is called Special Move Master for learning every special move. All that's left now is taking out the Dragon Twins, now called Andy and Randy, then it's taking out Yamada, now called Slick. When we defeat Slick in this version, some evil power leaves him and he reverts to Simon, his true self. But then he still says he'll be back. They still murdered him, every single gang member became honor students, and Ryan's girlfriend actually gets a mention. And that's Downtown Neketsu Story. It's a fun, if incredibly short game. If you know what you're doing, you can beat it in less than 20 minutes. But it's charming and enjoyable enough to give a go every now and then. I'm looking forward to checking out the other games in this bundle someday.